Hi, I'm going to talk about a scenario that I hit very often. So, whenever I'm experimenting with an idea or I'm bootstrapping a new project, one thing that I always miss is to reproduce my setup. And I've been experimenting a lot lately. My typical workflow for a web-based project is using Node and TypeScript. And setting up a Node and TypeScript project using NPM requires some work because of the plumbing that you need to do. However, there are newer tools such as Bun and Dino that provides the first-hand TypeScript support. But in the interest of using the same old stack, I prefer to use Node and TypeScript because it has been a proven technology for a very long time. But setting up a new project from scratch is always some work. So I was thinking how an AI or an LLM model can help me set it up fast so that I don't have to remember anything. And today, what I'm going to show you is how I'm using Llama 3, which is the recent model open sourced by Facebook, can help us set up our project from scratch. Now, as you can see, I'm running this entirely on localhost. So, which means that the the Llama model is installed locally. So as I'm interacting with the model, there is no dependency on internet. I'm connected to internet, but I'm not using it. I'm purely using it on localhost. And as you can see that I'm using a very different UI. It looks similar to ChatGPT, but it is open web UI project. And if you're interested, please write down a comment below and I will create a new video on how you can do the same thing that I've done so far. But the point is that here, the difference from ChatGPT is that you need to select the model. And I have two models installed locally. One is Llama 3 with 70 billion parameters, and one with Llama 3 with 8 billion parameters. The difference between the two is really the size and the inference time. So with 70B takes a long time. 8B is really fast. I don't really see a lag. And to prove that what I'm saying is right, I will go here. I'm using Ollama here to install my LLM models. And if I do Ollama LS, these are the two models that I talked about, also available here. So today we are going to use Llama 3 latest 8 billion parameter model to help set up our new project. So to do that, the first thing we need to do is to craft a prompt. So what I will say is I need to set up a new node plus TypeScript project based on TS node. I also need to set up this. So please help me out, giving me step by step directions. Also, write a test so that we can validate the setup. So all we are saying is this is what we are doing. This is the technology stack that we're using. We need help with setting up the directions. And we also need to write one test to make sure that our setup works completely fine. So I'm going to send a message. Or say, see, a model is not selected. So we need to select the model that we have. I'm going to pick the 8B Llama 3 and I'm going to send it again. And as you can see, the text generation starts almost instantaneously. It's really fast. And as you can see, it understands that we're talking about code. It is giving us the code structure and format. I can click on copy code and follow along everything. So let's do this. It's a long document, but it may work for us. So let's start with that. It says create a new project directory. I want to change it to something else. So let's say I will say mkdir, and I'm not calling it my project. I'm calling it Llama 3, and then I see cd Llama 3 here. And then it says you need to, since we told it that it's a node-based project, it's using NPM. So I will click here, copy code, and here come and paste. So we have all the information available here. So if I do ls, we have package.json ready. And now as the next step, it is saying that you need to install TypeScript. You need to install the right types and also TS nodes. So I will copy the code, come here, paste. And as you can see, it starts to work through it. And it may take it may take some time depending upon what internet speed you have. And then in the next step, we need to set up a tsconfig file. So I'll copy that. It didn't give me a command to create a file, but it's pretty easy. I'll say touch tsconfig.json, and I will say open this, insert, and save and come out. So now if I do this, I have all these files with node modules. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So now it's saying that create a new file called index.ts. I'll use the same thing, touch index.ts, and then vi for this file. And I will copy the code again, go to the insert mode, save, and come back. And then it's saying that in order to run your test, you need to install the gist and the related types. I will do so. And now it's saying you also need to create a gist config.js file. So let me just copy that. Take a little time, depending upon the internet speed. It might not be great on where I am right now. Fast forward, everything is installed here. I will now create the gist config file here. So I will say touch of this file and then vi again. And then it asks me to copy and paste this code. As you can see, all I'm doing is following these steps as copy and paste. It's more of if you are reading an open source project and you're trying to set it up, you're following a README file. It's very similar experience, but we'll test it out if it works or not. So now the preset of test gist, but hang on, it asks us to install gist, but not test gist. And I think it'll fail because it is not installed, but we'll figure this part out. So now if I do index test.ts, so if I open this file and insert this code here, so now we do have a test. If I do lsltr, let me just clean the screen. So we have the tsconfig, we have the index file, we have node modules, package, JSON and related log file. We have the just config and if we have the test file, okay, it's all good. And then it says run your first test. Okay, let's see if this works. And it says it didn't. As I mentioned that it didn't give us any command wherein the TS test was installed. So what we can do is, because it's a conversation, we can tell it that you missed to add instruction to install TS gist. And I'll keep it very short and then let's see what it has to say. So it's rewriting the device step-by-step guide, as you can see here. And where exactly does it add it? So it's still writing it actually, but hey, did it actually said it asked us to install? Oh, it's right here. See? It says npm install save tsgist type gist. So let's copy this command and run it again. And let's see if this time it works. So if I go back to the command and run it, here we go. Interesting. So as you can see, it ran and the test failed. So what happened? So using on the right-hand side, interacting with Llama3, we were able to set up our project in less than 5 minutes roughly. So it's a pretty good start, I would say. And we can, since this has failed, let's see why it has failed. It's because if I look at the index.ts file, it's looking at the vi, let's test the index.test.ts file. And it's waiting for it's looking for the index function inside the index.ts files. If I go to vi index.ts, there is no such function because it's just a console log. So what we can do is if we are not sure what we need to do, let's say I'm assuming that I don't know what happened and I have no idea, I will just copy this entire thing and I will say, I am facing this issue. And then in the code block, I will write it down and let's see what Llama3 has to say. So it's saying that it's encountering because, okay, so it correctly identified that index.ts is not a module, it's just a file. So it's asking us to update our gist config. Okay, so let's go vi gist config.ts. and then I will delete everything and insert. Okay. And then let's see what it has to do now. I'll clear the screen, run it again. And this time it failed again because index.test.ts is expecting index to be this, but it is not doing that. All right. It's still failing on the same parts. I'll go back and I will say, sorry, what you're saying doesn't make any sense to me because cat index.ts. Now we may need to help. So we'll say, it seems there is no index function in index.ts. And then we're going to paste the code to help Llama3 understand what we are trying to say. And let's see what it has to say. Oh, now it's saying I apologize, a mistake. So what it says is now you change your index.ts file to be this. So, okay, so let's try that. We are index.t, oops, my bad, index.ts file. And then we delete it and paste the code that our friend Llama3 has given us. Let's try again. Did you mean to import the index from this instead? So as you can see, there is a lot of back and forth that we have to do right now. And then it understands what it has to do. So now see, if I compare this with the previous one, it says export default index. Now it is saying export index. So there is no default function anymore. So let's go back and change that part. Let's delete everything again. Just copy the code. Let's paste it here. And da-da, we have our test passing now. So as you can see, there was a lot of back and forth by showing Llama what we are seeing and giving it a context. This could get really easy in the next step, which it's already taken 13 minutes, but I'll make a video wherein we can be more careful, or we can pass in more context to the LLM so that it follows what exactly is in our head. So asking the right set of questions is extremely important. So I hope this was useful. To summarize, we have taken help from Llama3 running purely on our machine in order to set up a project from scratch, assuming that we know nothing. And we have our project here up and running, and we have been able to run the test completely fine. So if this was useful, please let us know what else or what problems do you face. And hopefully I'll make more videos on how you can leverage LLMs, mostly local. As you can see, I'm not using GitHub Copilot. So I hope this was useful. Thank you very much for your time, and I will see you soon. Thank you.